Anthony Yarde will be back in the ring in April at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on the undercard of Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. And his opponent is the one and only Lyndon Arthur. As you know, these guys have fought each other twice, innit? So this is going to be the trilogy. Now, the reaction online from boxing fans and everyone else, no one's happy about this. People are just not happy about Anthony Yarde fighting Lyndon Arthur for the third time. And fans feel disappointed by this announcement, do you know what I mean? And to be honest, even me as an Anthony Yarde fan, do you know what I mean? Because I admire Anthony Yarde, his skills. I believe he's a very talented fighter. Do you know what I mean? For someone who only had 12 amateur bouts to achieve what he has achieved, I think he's something to be admired. I think, you know, Anthony Yarde, even though he gets a lot of stick, I think he's done really well for himself. Do you know what I mean? I think he's done good. And I don't feel like he deserves a lot of the criticism that he gets. Some of it, yes, well-deserved, but a lot of it, I feel, is a bit harsh on Anthony Yarde. Do you know what I mean? For someone who came into the sport so late to get to the place that he's in now, come on, you have to congratulate the brother. He's done well. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, to a lot of the boxing fans, the public, it's not enough. Do you know what I mean? It's not enough. A lot of people are frustrated with Anthony Yarde because they believe that he could have achieved so much more. Do you know what I mean? And at the age of 33 years old now, he's fallen out with Frank Warren. He's not managed by Frank Warren no more. He's not under Queensbury Promotions anymore. He's not promoted by Frank Warren. They're fallen out. Contract negotiations, whatever happened, a lot of things have been said. So that relationship looks like it's water under the bridge. And it seems like Anthony Yarde is the bigger loser in the whole situation. Because as we know now, Frank Warren, he's working with Turki Al-Sheikh, Riyadh season. All the fighters on Queensbury Promotions are getting opportunities. Moses Toma, Daniel Dubois, you name it. Like Frank Warren has got so many fighters on our stable. They're all getting opportunity. They're all making money, you know. And Anthony Yarde was someone that we wanted to see fight a Joshua Boati. You know, Anthony Yarde should really be on that card on the 22nd of February fighting Joshua Boati. Do you know what I mean? But instead, Joshua Boati's fighting Callum Smith. Great British clash. I think that's a fascinating fight. I'm really looking forward to that. And Joshua Boati, Callum Smith, they get into the bag, man. They're gonna make money. Riyadh season, Turki Al-Sheikh, that's where the money's at. And it's sad, it's unfortunate that Anthony Yarde is not involved in a Riyadh card, in a Riyadh season card. He's never been involved in a Riyadh season card, because when his relationship went left with Frank Warren, that's when the Turki Al-Sheikh Riyadh season came into play. So Anthony Yarde, like, the timing wasn't ideal for his career, was it? Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's where a lot of the frustration from boxing fans come. That's where some of my frustrations comes from, because I feel like Anthony Yarde, his career, you know, especially now, it looks like he's just being mismanaged. Say what you want about Frank Warren, yeah? Call him whatever you want, you know. But one thing Frank Warren knows what to do is promote fighters. The guy's been around for donkey's years. He's been around for years, Frank Warren. He knows how to promote fighters. He knows how to propel fighters to world titles and make them superstars. Do you know what I mean? And we have to admit, we have to say that when Anthony Yarde was under Frank Warren, he got a lot of opportunities. He got 2 cracks at the title against Kovalev out in Russia. He got another crack at the title against Artur Beterbiev. That was all under Frank Warren. But since that relationship went sour, where has Anthony Yarde, where has his career gone? Do you know what I mean? His last fight was against Ralph Velkins at the Copper Box arena. And that fight didn't go all his own way. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Anthony Yarde knocked down, what's his name? Velkins in the first round, I believe. But after that, Anthony Yarde did not look good. The performance was quite poor. We do give him the benefit of the doubt. Anthony Yarde was coming back off a layoff. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, look, ring rust and all that, we get it. So obviously, the most important thing for Anthony Yarde was getting the rounds and getting the W in that fight. It happened. But after that, we're now expecting Anthony Yarde to kick on a bit now. Let's see you in another big fight. Let's see a Joshua Buatsi fight. But even after I saw his coach slash manager, Tunde Ajayi, I saw him on Talk Sport. I saw him doing interviews online, etc., talking about, yeah, there's negotiations. We're ready for Joshua Buatsi. Do you know what I mean? We'll fight Joshua Buatsi tomorrow. Anthony Yarde, even he was saying, look, bring on the Buatsi fight. Buatsi himself was saying, bring on the Yarde fight. So a lot of us boxing fans were thinking, yeah, finally. This is the fight that we all wanted to happen. It's finally going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the fight that we want to see Anthony Yarde involved in. It's a British clash, probably the biggest fight for both guys right now. But what happened? It never happened. It never materialized, man. All of a sudden, Rhea season card on the 22nd of February is announced. And guess what? Anthony Yarde is not in there. Now, is it Frank Warren pushing buttons behind the scenes, hindering Anthony Yarde's career? Do you know what I mean? Because, listen, once you go against Frank Warren, who at the moment is on top of the world in terms of like boxing promoters, he's the main guy right now. He's the main guy right now, Frank Warren. He's running things behind the scenes in boxing right now, yeah? You go against him, of course he's probably going to press buttons against you. And Anthony Yarde is a victim of that. Actually, is Anthony Yarde a victim, or is he the architect of his own misery? I wouldn't say downfall, because obviously the guy is 33, he's still fighting, he's still active. It's not like he's retired and he's done and there's no fights left out there for him. Of course, there's still fights out there for Anthony Yarde. So I wouldn't say he's the architect of his own downfall. I'll say he's the architect of his own misery right now. Because fighting Lyndon Arthur is, I don't think that's the fight that Anthony Yarde was prioritized. I don't feel like when Anthony Yarde was thinking about fights, I don't think he had Lyndon Arthur at the top of that list. I think this is a fight that Anthony Yarde is taking on the basis of keeping his position. Do you know what I mean? What I mean is, when I say keeping his position, Anthony Yarde, I wouldn't say he's playing it safe. He's playing kind of like the long game, if you know what I mean. He's like, you know what? I can't really fight another bum, another cab driver, because the guy that he fought before, Velkins, ain't nobody checking out for that guy. Do you know what I mean? So Anthony Yarde is thinking, look, if I can't fight another bum, and people won't be interested in that. Do you know what I mean? I might even lose more respect. So what can I do to still keep me relevant in the public eye? Yeah. Keep my rankings with all the different governing bodies, etc., WBC, WBA, keep my rankings and all that. And also get the fans a little bit interested in my fight. Lyndon Arthur. Do you know what I mean? Because with Lyndon Arthur, there's kind of like unfinished business there. Lyndon Arthur won the first fight. Yarde came back, knocked him out in the second fight. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those fights where, okay, let's close that chapter. Let's close that chapter. Do you know what I mean? I think that's why Yarde, Tunde, and the rest of the team, that's what they're thinking. Do you know what I mean? Lyndon Arthur is a solid fighter. He's honest. A lot in the UK, people know Lyndon Arthur. No disrespect to Lyndon Arthur. He's not elite. He's not world class. Do you know? He's not a superstar. He's none of that. Do you know what I mean? What Lyndon Arthur is a solid, honest boxer who's gonna go out there and give his best. Do you know what I mean? We saw Lyndon Arthur when he went against Bivol. He put up an honest performance. Do you know what I mean? Even though he got outboxed, outclassed every single round, got knocked down in the eighth or I don't know, in the 11th round or something like that, but he survived. He survived against an elite world-class fighter in Dimitri Bivol, but he was outclassed the whole fight. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't even close. Lyndon Arthur went in there, he got the bag, and he went in there to survive. He was fighting for his pride not to get knocked out. But really and truly, he got the beatings in that fight. Do you know what I mean? So this is the guy that Yarde is fighting next, you know, just so they can close that chapter. But for the fans, nothing but disappointment for Anthony Yarde. All that talent that Anthony Yarde possesses, he could have been so much bigger. Like, for me personally, yeah, I believe that Anthony Yarde could have been as big as Anthony Joshua. And I'm not reaching. Like, before you actually try and kill me on that, trust me, I'm not reaching. I actually feel like Anthony Yarde had the capabilities. He's got, do you know what I mean? Like, he's got all the attributes. I'm talking aesthetically. I'm talking talent-wise. Do you know what I mean? He's got knockout power. He's got that box office. Do you know what I mean? Stardust about him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if he was managed properly, if he had the right people around him, right advice, right guidance, I feel like Anthony Yarde could have went all the way to the top. And a lot of people question, is Tunde a world-class coach? Like, for me personally, if you ask me my opinion, I don't think Tunde is a world-class coach. But I feel like at this stage of Anthony Yarde's career, there's no point in him changing coaches. Because it's been with Tunde since the beginning. Do you know what I mean? The dynamics are right. They have this mentor, father figure type of relationship. They're used to each other. There's no point changing right now. If Anthony Yarde would have changed coaches, it should have been after the Kovalev fight, like 4 or 5 years ago. That's when he should have changed coaches. But now, I feel like he's kind of like too late. Do you know what I mean? Never say never, but for me personally, just stay with Tunde. Just stay with Tunde. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can question whether Tunde is world class or he's not good enough, he's not elite, doesn't give the right advice, and people have the right to their opinion as well. Do you know what I mean? My opinion is he's not world class because Tunde hasn't won no titles, man. Do you know what I mean? And Tunde is not coaching other fighters that we know that are big apart from Anthony Yarde. He's only got Anthony Yarde. That's known. Do you know what I mean? How many fighters have actually gone to Tunde that are established in the UK or abroad? They've called, yo, Tunde, yo, come and coach me. Like, I'm talking like well-known names in boxing. I haven't heard of any, apart from Anthony Yarde, who's been coaching. Do you know what I mean? So there's something there in it. There's a conversation to be had around Tunde. Do you know what I mean? And this ain't even personal for me to Tunde. Like, I like Tunde. Do you know what I mean? As a person, I think he's very, I think he's a character. Do you know what I mean? He's got a bit of character about him. He talks well. He comes across well, well educated in interviews. Do you know what I mean? I give him that. But I'm talking like coaching at the elite level. I just, nah, not for me. Do you know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, man, Anthony Yarde, man. I'm gonna leave it at that. Anthony Yarde. Let me know in the comments what you think of Anthony Yarde and what's happening in his career. Fighting Lyndon Arthur again. If he loses, oh my God, where does Anthony Yarde go for that? That's a career ender. Because there's no way you lose to Lyndon Arthur. There's no way to hide, man. There's no way for you to go. You can forget it. Absolutely forget it. You have to win that fight by knockout. It has to look spectacular. Because if you go out there in his life and death and you win by a split decision or something, mate, again, he doesn't leave you in a good standing in boxing. Do you know what I mean? But I want to leave you at that. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Anthony Yarde and his fight and his career, where he's going. Was it a big mistake, him leaving Frank Warren? Let me know in the comments. Let's have that conversation. But anyways, man, thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. I'm your boy, Enzo. Please don't forget to like, drop a comment, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, because that's the only way you're going to help us to grow. Thank you so much. I'll be back real soon with another one. Until then, stay blessed. Peace.